this team sucks. They suck. And I don't want to talk about it, but kind of have to because we already skipped last series against the Mets. But now we got to talk about this Fenway sweep. Episode 533. Welcome back to the show. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya! Anthony for three, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied! Time! Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win! All right. Well, this Yankees team is really hard to watch. They're difficult to sit through, and I don't know. I don't know that I can really. I'm gonna try to stay positive. I'll say that. I'll try to stay reasonable. Put it that way. Because I understand it's June 19th, and while it's pretty deep into the season, it's also, we got about half of the year left. But I don't know. I don't know how anybody could tell me. I got a comment in after the White Sox series in that episode on, I think it was YouTube, telling me to relax because Yankees fans No, we're not overreacting, man. The team spent $280 million in the offseason. And right now they're 7 games above 500. If 6. It's bad. Yeah, we skipped the Mets series because it got so bad. I had no energy for it. The Yankees only able to split 1 of 2 against the shitty Mets at Citi Field. There were a lot of decisions from Boone that we didn't like in that series. Bullpen decisions mostly. Also some decisions to not bunt with Volpe and Bauers in those games. It was the start of maybe Volpe finding something, but didn't do much in Boston. But since we skipped the episode, we are handing out cap tips from the Mets series to Volpe, Cole, and Tommy Kahnle. That's Anthony Volpe's 2nd, Cole's 7th, and Kahnle's 1st. But the Yanks responded to splitting 1 of 2 at Citi Field by going to Boston and getting absolutely bitched. They got swept at Fenway, and it started on Friday night, where the Yankees lost Friday night 15-5 against the last place Red Sox. They are an abhorrent baseball team, the Red Sox. They're terrible. They're in last place. They are under 500. They're not good. They're a bad team. And the Yankees were pathetically swept, and they made them look like the 98 Yankees on Friday night. Losing 15-5. It was Domingo Germán against Tanner Houck. Houck got drilled in the face, but I think he's okay. The Yankees actually, they go up nice and early in this one, and that's been a trend lately until they blow it. Bauers leads off the game with a double in the corner. Rizzo, though, bangs into a ground out, but it does score the Yankees' first run. Boston answers back with 2 in the bottom half of the inning. Masataka Yoshida, of course it's him. He doubles off the wall to plate 2. So it's 2-1 Boston. And then the wheels just fell off. Boston gets 2 more in the 2nd inning off of Germán to make it 4-1. 6 in the 3rd inning to make it 10-1. So Domingo was done after 2+. Eventually 7 runs go to his line because Justin Turner hits the grand slam off of that random pitcher Matt Crook. And then 3 more from Boston makes it 13-1 after 4 innings of disgraceful baseball that Aaron Boone calls pretty good. We'll talk about that. The Yankees scored some fake runs later on with a cute little rally in the 6th, and then Donaldson, the inevitable fake home run in the 8th inning, down a bunch. But there's no reason, again, to dive into this one or really any of these games. They played like dog water on Friday night, and they threw, kicked, and juggled the ball all around the diamond. I mean, I counted maybe 5 errors, maybe more. Like, they all weren't even scored as errors because Fenway is biased with their scoring, but it was such a disgraceful baseball game for a team that's apparently they're a professional team. But they certainly didn't look like it on Friday night. And so they lose 15-5 in a pathetic showing. On Saturday, the Yankees did not play because it was raining in Boston, but they went back out there, and don't worry, they got swept in the doubleheader on Sunday. They lost the first game on Sunday, second game of the series, 6-2. Schmidt pitched for the Yankees, and for the Red Sox, well, they tried to punt this game. They threw an opener and a bunch of AAA guys, but they were still able to beat the Yankees. They threw some random low-tier bum as an opener. A couple other minor leaguers, Nick Pivetta, and that was it. And they still won. Top of the first, Jake Bauers, a leadoff double. And then Glaber the home run, 2-0 Yankees. Here we go. Second inning, Volpe makes a nice play, throws the first. Rizzo makes the nice scoop. You got Schmidt looking very good once again for 4+ innings. But then he implodes in the 5th inning. We'll talk on Boone's decision maybe later if I remember. I don't know if I have it in my notes. I don't remember. Let me take a sip of water. But Volpe did make another nice play in this inning, 5th inning, going to the outfield to play the ball off the Fenway Green Monster. Bauers is just terrible out there. But with 1 out, yeah, it was 1 out in the 5th inning, and he implodes. Walk, double, RBI ground ball, single. And then he was replaced with Michael King down 2-1. King got banged around in the bottom of the 6th, and the game was over there. Had a pair of doubles and then a single by Turner to top it off. That made it 5-2 Boston. The 6th run for the Red Sox came when the sloppy, undisciplined Yankees played to their MO in the 7th with the balk by Nick Ramirez to score Yoshida, who is not a Yankee, by the way, but he's a Red Sox. That made it 6-2, and that was that. The Yankees went down feebly the rest of the way. Michael King now has allowed runs in 3 of 4 appearances of late. He's just getting hit around. And I'm thinking, hey, maybe a few games back when we needed him in a high-leverage spot, we probably should have used him there and went for the win today. But hey, we know that Aaron Boone, he loves thinking about tomorrow before we get there. And we end up not even having to use King for a number of those days because the Yankees were so garbage in those games, there was no point to use him. So I hope this loser learns his lesson and tries to win today. But we know he won't. And then there was Sunday night where the Yankees, well, they lost again. They lost this game 4-1. Severino versus Bayo, who shut down the Yankees once again. Another 7 strong innings. Top of the first, you get first and second, no outs for the Yankees, and they only end up getting 1 run, and it's off a ground ball out. It was like it's always the best case scenario is they'll score 1 run when they have a bunch of guys on and no outs, and that 1 run won't even come off a hit. Bottom of the first, Severino lets up an immediate base hit up the middle, but then he escapes the inning with a strikeout, a pickoff, and a fly ball to left. Bottom of the second, he hangs a slider to Devers for a leadoff base hit, but again, no, he didn't escape it. Then I think later in the inning, he lets up, he leaves like a changeup over the plate to Hernandez, and that ends up being an RBI double, ties the game. Top of the third, the Yankees have a shot, but of course do 0 with it. Bauers walks. He's still second, but Gleyber Torres pathetically strikes out, and then Rizzo flies out deep to center field, just missed a home run. Center fielder catches it off the wall, right against the wall. Bottom of the fourth, Boston scores off the catcher's interference by Higashioka. It's 2-1, Red Sox. Bottom of the fifth, you have a double, make it a 4-1 game, and that just took all the energy out of Yankees fans and the dugout. That was it. The Yankees didn't even bother coming back. They had no energy. As soon as that happened, it was over. So why even get into the specifics and the details? I guess Severino was better. The command looked better. The velocity was actually great. He was around 98 miles an hour often with the fastball, so that was a big plus. The swing and miss stuff was there. But also, in 5 innings, he still walked 3, allowed 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned. So, averaged 2 base runners per inning in this start. So, better? Sure. But only because he was giving up 5, 6, 7 runs in his previous 3. So, I don't know. Maybe the positive is that maybe he's not hurt after all. Maybe it was just a dead arm period and he's getting over that. But it wasn't really anything to encourage me yet. I got to see a little more. So, we'll talk about this series, some specifics of the series and some talking points. I want to try to make this somewhat quick because I really don't want to give the Yankees my energy right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll get through this episode. When we return from break, we'll start talking about some specific talking points. Stay with us. Be right back.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. You know, we talked about Yoshida not being a Yankee. I just looked at the MLB box scores, Miami game. Luis Arias he just had a 5-for-5 night on Friday. He has another one tonight. He's back over 400. And that's another guy who is available in the offseason. We'll start off with, I guess, positives, and we're not gonna dive into this. We're gonna run through these tipping of the caps. But I'm tipping my cap to 3 guys like I always do every episode. 1 from the lineup, 1 from the pen, 1 from the rotation. And I'm handing them out. We didn't make any graphics because, truth be told, none of these guys deserve that time right now. But I'm handing out a tip of the cap to Jake Bauers. He continues to swing a decent bat. The outfield defense is pathetic. He is a first baseman, but that's the point. The Yankee roster construction is so bad that we've got infielders playing outfield. Fenway also sucks. It's a Tinker Toy Stadium. Clarke Schmidt, I'll give him. I'll tip my cap to him. I thought he had a good series. A good game. Not a great game, but he continues to pitch fine. I'll say he pitched the least worst of the 3. Domingo Germán was obviously a joke. Luis Severino wasn't great, although, again, the fastball velo was up and all that. But Clarke Schmidt looked very impressive for 4 innings before losing it a little bit in the 5th, the 3rd time through the order. Should he have pulled him? Maybe, but whatever. It's Clark's 4th cap tip, actually. So he's done pretty well for the Yankees, man. I'll say it. He's been fine as the number 5. He's got a 4.3 ERA right now. It's gone down ever since the end of April. He's been good. I got to give Clarke Schmidt credit. I think it's either 8 of 9 or 9 of 10 starts where he's allowed 3 runs earned or less. So good for him. And then Tommy Kahnle is getting a tip of the cap. It's his 2nd cap tip. He continues to look very, very good. Has not allowed a run yet. Knock on wood. He retired the side on Sunday night with 3 strikeouts. 1, 2, 3. So Tommy Kahnle gets. I tip my cap to Tommy Kahnle. But that's we're stopping the positivity right there. So if you're one to get frustrated when I get a little pessimistic or what I think is just realistic. Probably tune out now and yeah, because this is not going to be pretty. Listen, this lineup they're pitiful right now. And again, I will say they're pitiful, but there really isn't an excuse whatsoever for them to be this pitiful. Because between Stanton, Rizzo, and Gleyber Torres, the Yankees should still be able, I'll keep saying this, they should still be able to put up 4, maybe 5 runs right there. But they have not. Because those guys, plus some of the veterans, plus Volpe, have been pretty garbage. They've been pretty garbage. And the Yankees now on this season are batting .230 as a team. .230 on this season with an on-base percentage of .298 this season. .298, that is diabolical. That's an abomination. It's absolutely disgusting and unacceptable to have an on-base percentage in the 200s. I bat those numbers in MLB Road to the Show on Legend difficulty because I suck. And they sent me down. They didn't send me down, but that game's hard. It's hard to hit in that game. But those guys aren't hitting. Stanton has to come around. He has to. He's the moneymaker. He's the lone, big, massive human in that lineup right now without Judge, who's capable of carrying an offense. But he simply has not. And I guess you can chalk this up to him, speeding up his rehab process and basically skipping that as a whole. Right? And maybe this is just one of his infamous slow starts upon returning from the DL, right? Because he always does that. But that can't be an excuse we use. We can't just staple that. Like, he's got to do it himself. He's got to turn it around. He's got to do it yesterday. Because we can't really wait another day for this. Rizzo looks like the worst hitter in baseball this month. I mean, I would say I don't know what the hell happened, but I guess it's the neck incident with Tatis. Fuck that guy. But if he's hurt, he needs to say something right now. Because it's gotten to a point with Anthony Rizzo where he's harming the team being in this lineup doing what he's doing. He looks foolish up there. Foolish. And I never thought I'd say that about a hitter as professional as Anthony Rizzo is. But he has 4 hits since that Dodger series. 4 hits since. That was the first series of the month. As I record this, it's June 19th. He looks foolish. Gleyber Torres, I guess, has shown some life of the 3. But he's the reason I call it the big 2.5. Because he's not as good as those guys are. He's Gleyber Torres is a 250 batting average, 750 OPS hitter. And he's been that guy ever since he peaked in his second season. He's not that good and he's not that bad. He's above average and that's where it ends. So even if he's been fine lately, it's not helping much because those other 2 guys have been beyond whatever beyond abysmal is. They've been beyond that. And, I'm not excusing guys like LeMahieu or Donaldson. But there is a reason I do keep excluding them when I critique the Yankee lineup. And that is simply because I just don't think they're all that good anymore. I think both of those 2 are very washed up. But at least with Stanton, Rizzo, and Torres, you've seen each of them have great seasons for the Yankees in recent years. Decent seasons or better in recent years. Despite the age with Stanton and Rizzo, they've been good in recent years. But Donaldson hasn't been good since he was with Minnesota in 2021. He's also 37 years old. DJ LeMahieu hasn't been good since 2019-2020. He'll be 35 next month. So it's on those 3 guys for me, man. That's where I'm looking. And it's specifically Stanton and Rizzo who have to snap out of it and be the productive veterans, that the Yankees are paying them to be. This right here, moments like this, when your team is in a big, dark skid, this is why the Yankees handed Stanton that contract in December of 2017. And I know, Volpe obviously hasn't hit either. He's been statistically the Yankees' worst hitter all year. It doesn't seem like they're going to send him down. Between the Hal Steinbrenner comments and just the way the Yankees do things, it doesn't seem like that's happening. So complaining about Volpe being sent down is something I'm going to stop doing. Because it's just nonsensical at this point. It's useless. But he's not been good. He's batting below 200 still. The on-base is still below 300. Maybe he finds something because he did look better at Citi Field. First game of Boston, I think he picked up another hit. A walk in there. But, the tweak in his mechanics, right? That's been a topic. And how humiliating is that, by the way? I want to talk about that. Let's talk about Dylan Lawson and the Yankees and Volpe's mechanics and all that when we return from break. Stay with us. We'll be back in a few seconds.
You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone, and you are listening to episode 533 of the podcast. Thanks for tuning into BD4. So, this was not too long ago, a week or two ago or something like that. Anthony Volpe's hanging at his place with a couple of his minor league teammates. Austin Wells being one of them. They're sitting there, I guess they're watching film. And Austin Wells, they're having lunch or dinner or whatever. And Austin Wells goes to Anthony Volpe. He's like, hey, see that? Your stance was way more closed off when you were playing down in AA, AAA. It's been more open with the Yankees, or even. They noticed he was pulling out. They noticed that his front foot was flying open. And so Austin Wells tells him, hey, close it back up. So Anthony Volpe closes his front foot back up. We see the difference in his batting stance in the first game at Citi Field. And he picks up 3 doubles in the series. And I'm just sitting there the whole time, and I'm sure a lot of other Yankees fans have the same thought process. The Yankees can't be happy that Volpe said that. What does Dylan Lawson truly do? Part of me feels like the Yankees and their hitting coaches, all they do is give out positive reinforcement and nothing else to help their guys. They just say positive things. Hey, just keep working at it. It will come. We know it's in you. It's there. Keep going. Sometimes I really, really, really feel like that's all they do. Because they never change their approach. None of these guys. They're always up there hacking. They're trying not to get cheated regardless of the count. And what's with this 3-0 count swinging? I know I sound like a 75-year-old man, but they always swing at 3-0. That's become a fucking norm for these guys. 3-0. It's stupid to this day. Unless you're Aaron Judge, who hits 62 home runs. You should not be swinging 3-0. You're on the verge of getting a base. You don't swing on 3-0. But these guys are up there doing it left and right. That's gone. That's a fundamental that's gone with the Yankees. They can never hit the high fastball. Guys like Volpe have this gigantic uppercut in his swing. And part of me feels like that's the Yankees influenced with their obsession with launch angle. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, Dylan Lawson's bullshit comments just irk me. He doesn't believe in statistics. whatever those comments were about his hitters. He doesn't look at stats. You don't think that's important for your hitters to have good numbers? Like, I saw a sound clip of him the other day talking about the Yankee hitters in the absence of Judge, and it was just him speaking in circles, a whole bunch of nothing. These guys don't know any. It just feels like they don't know much. I'm not saying they don't work hard. I'm sure they're working hard, but I don't know if they're very good at recognizing problems, at problem solving. Hit strikes hard, 3 true outcome. All that seems like garbage right now. Scrap it. Scrap all of that and start preaching about hitting line drives the other way and working walks and getting on base. That should be their philosophy. Start popularizing, if that's a word, the single, the double. The Yankees could have a doubles machine in Volpe, but they want him to uppercut his swing and pull off, or they don't notice that he's doing that. It takes Austin Wells. The Yankees are bottom third in batting average. 230 as a team. Why do you think that is? They hit home runs. They do that. They hit those. But because they hit so many home runs, they do nothing outside of the home run. The home run, while still the most damaging hit as an automatic run, it's still the least frequent hit of the single-double home run. It's still the one that's hit the least frequently. So if you're a team who relies just on the home run, that means there will be a ton of dead periods where your bats give you nothing because they're not doing singles and doubles. They don't hit singles. They don't hit doubles. That's why their batting average as a team is so goddamn low every year, because their home runs are the only kinds of hits they pick up. And this year, they stopped working counts. They don't even have a good on-base percentage anymore because now they don't walk much anymore either. ESPN showed a graphic last night. The Yankees have the lowest on-base percentage right now since the 1968 Yankees. That team sucked. It had, a beaten-up old Mickey Mantle. And that was the team, who had their pitchers bat. The DH wasn't a thing in 1968. So a bunch of those at-bats went to pitchers. It's embarrassing. I know some of this is roster construction, and Cashman is a fool. He's a fool. He's a fool for acquiring these guys and not acquiring the 1 billion guys who made sense for this team. But some of it also has to fall on coaching as well. And these guys are simply not doing enough in the cages. So I'm getting a little tired of Dylan Lawson. Get an older guy in there at hitting coach. A guy with an actual major league career in the big leagues who's had success as a major league hitter. Get an old grump in there who's not afraid to mention the term batting average to his guys. Somebody who's not afraid to yell at these guys for striking out. Because those things called strikeouts, hey, yeah, guys, they're bad. You don't want to do that. That's still the least productive out there is, regardless of what the Yankees tell you. Give me a guy like that. When we return from break, we're going to talk a little bit about and I guess we'll do a little bit of Cashman Hal, but I want to get to Boone a little later too. We're going to head to break, be back in about 15 seconds. Stay with us, be right there.
If you have time in the day or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to BD4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to episode 533 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone, and you are listening to BD4. I rant about this too much, but Cashman, and Hal, they did this shit. He hired Cashman. He extended Cashman after getting swept by Houston. Hal gave Cashman a spending limit, too, with this luxury tax garbage that will never affect the Yankees. Now, the Yankees spend a bunch of money, yes, but they're the Yankees. They could be spending Mets money if they wanted to. But, it's on mainly Cashman for me. For obviously not going out and getting shit done when the market was hot and when you needed guys. Do I really need to go through the list and list them all again. Like all the guys the Yankees passed on because they're worried about contracts, prospects, luxury tax, etc. Seager, Turner, Correa, Bogarts, Yoshida, Arias. I can keep going, but I'll stop there because we go through this a lot. I don't want to be too repetitive. Holes that needed to be filled with talent out there, left empty, and you throw Hicks and Cabrera out there to fight for the left field job, both of whom are now off the roster. An injury-prone roster that has a history of the same guys going down each and every year. No problem. Let's keep relying on those same guys without a legitimate plan B. No problem. But it is a problem. And the problem is Cashman. Cashman is a problem. And Aaron Boone, yeah, he's not innocent. Sure, his bullpen decisions and the resting bullcrap, that annoys me. But it's the laid-back mentality that throws so many things off. I attribute that mentality to the Yankees' fundamentals being awful every single year. Every single goddamn year. Errors in the field. Torres. On the bases. Torres. Donaldson. Getting picked off. How many balks have we seen this year lead to runs in big innings? Severino, 2 times he balks in 1 inning. Ramirez, last night he balks. Higashioka, with the catcher's interference with the bases loaded in a tight game, the number 8 hitter is up. Jake Bauers playing fucking wall ball out there in left field last night. IKF's an infielder turned into a center fielder all of a sudden. Got 300-pound, 5'2" Willie Calhoun out there sometimes. Like, how about... Oh, I can't, man. Like, the Yankees, what was it? Was it Friday night? Throwing the ball around the goddamn diamond all night long. They had to have had 5, 6, 7 errors, maybe, that were scored as hits because Fenway is biased. Watch that game again. It was pathetic. It is pathetic. And part of that is playing all these misfits out of position. They literally have one natural outfielder on this roster right now, and that guy just got here a few weeks ago. So that's on Cashman. I get that. But do we really have to change the damn lineup around every single day with a new leadoff man, a new cleanup bat? Do we have to? And this isn't new. It's not something we're doing just because we're unhealthy right now. No, we've been doing this shit April, May, June. Sit him, bat him here, do this, do that. It's garbage. And it's all part of that bullcrap philosophy they carry. The mixing and matching. So I don't think Boone's innocent. I don't like his mentality. I think he's a giant, could say the P word, but we'll use beta. He's a giant beta. That's my main thing with him. His relaxed mentality. He's super buddy-buddy. He's the player-friendly guy. And I will always make that, parents are not supposed to be their kid's best friend reference when I refer to coaching, because I think it's very similar. A coach, manager, he's not supposed to be his players' friends. Just like a parent's not supposed to be his kid's friend. Oh yeah, Boone gets angry with umps. Great. But how about getting fired up with your team? How about getting fired up on your team? That's also a manager's job. That's why he annoys me, because it's like the only time you see Boone get fired up is when it's the other guy's fault. It's never him. It's never his team. He's a Karen. He's a Karen. It's time to be a man and hold your team accountable sometimes. But no, he'll sit there and he'll tell you how much he loves his team in the press conference. Last night, this is a quote, word for word. Last night he was asked about the Yankees losing. He goes, "For the most part, we've been playing very well. We just haven't been scoring." First off, I will say one more time. You've not been playing well. Not just that you're losing, because usually when you say comments like that, the process has at least been there, but the results aren't, right? But if you're Aaron Boone, please don't tell us and insult us by saying you're playing well. Please, probably go back and watch tape of this weekend series, because your guys are out there balking, getting interferences, getting picked off, and throwing the ball around the damn diamond. So I'm begging Aaron Boone to watch Friday night's game and then go watch the second game of the doubleheader on Sunday and tell me once more that you guys are playing well. I heard that. My face didn't budge because that's the norm that we've come to accept from him. And it's not okay. I don't think a guy who carries that mentality can help a team win a title. I don't. Because I think that style is very contagious too. I think that's why this team gets so lackadaisical at times. They all seem okay. Like Mike King is out there doing an interview in the game 2 of the doubleheader. And he's all happy on ESPN last night, laughing. And I feel like these guys should be a little pissed off. Harrison Bader's out there, and I love the kid. But he's all, you know what? I think I'll wait a little longer before I come back. Let me delay my rehab another 5 days. That kind of bothered me. I don't know, man. I just don't feel like the urgency is there with this team. With the Judge thing, they might have to scrap the whole 100% or nothing bullshit, because it seems like Judge is not going to be 100% until a long time, like maybe mid-July, probably August 1st. I wouldn't be crazy. I wouldn't think it's crazy if that happened. The Yankees, Judge, might have to bite the bullet, toughen up, and send him out there at least DHing or pinch hitting a couple times a week if he gets to 70%. Like, they might have to do something soon if this keeps happening. So, I don't know, man. I'm just not a fan of Boone. Fuda-ban. The losing may not be his fault, but it doesn't make him a winner. It doesn't make him a great major league manager just because his general manager is a bigger piece of shit. Because I look around the AL East and I see Cora, I see Kevin Cash even. I feel like those guys get the best out of their men. They're players managers too, but they can get something out of their guys. They get the very best out of them. I don't look at Boone and think that. And you hear this sometimes, and I'm a big proponent of it. Sometimes you kind of need a scapegoat just to shake things up. My buddy Greg from Yankee Crazy Podcast, he's been on the show a few times. He made an outstanding point to me that I keep thinking about now. About the Phillies last year with Girardi. If you don't remember what happened, they were 22-29 with them last year. Underachieving completely. They looked dead in the water for the first 51 games. They fired him right there. Rob Thompson comes in. They turn their season around by going 65-46 the rest of the way and got to the World Series. Maybe that's what the Yankees need. Not now, but soon. If this keeps happening the next month. Will it happen? Will they fire him and do something like that? Abso-fucking-lutely not, they won't. No way in hell. Boone is their puppet who does and says everything they tell him to. But should it happen? Different convo. Yes. You could certainly make a case that it should happen if this goes on for another month and they fall to 4th place. Because let me tell you something. This team might not be able to wait that long. Like we keep hearing, oh, just wait until Judge gets back. They'll be fine. What if the Yankees are below 500 by then and in 4th place? Since Judge went down, they've won only 3 of the 11 games they played. That's awful. Right? It's the whole floor and ceiling thing that I always like going back to. I always say, and for the record, I will still say this. The Yankees have a ceiling this year of 95 wins, give or take, which will probably get them 2nd place this year. But they also have a floor of about 85 wins, give or take. And I still stand by that. I still think both of those scenarios are possible. I'll say it. They could very easily scratch and claw and still find their way to 95. But they could also find a way to win 85, which is terrible. And, you wish there wasn't such a large difference in the Yankees' floor and ceiling, because when you spend close to $300 million, you want your GM building a roster that has more certainty and doesn't have such a large gap between the floor and ceiling, right? But between all the injuries, Judge and these washed up dinosaurs on the roster and the random journeyman we have to suffer through watching because he doesn't want to spend on the guys that are available, it certainly looks like that floor for the Yankees is becoming more realistic than their ceiling. I feel like the pendulum is starting to swing that way a little tiny bit. It's leaning left. I'm not fully panicking yet, but I'm definitely moving that needle towards the left. It's slightly left towards that 85 win floor. If it's as bad as they say, and they say, let's say they don't send Judge back out on the field until late July, the Yankees could very well be in terrible shape. They're currently on an 88 win pace, and a lot of those games have been with Judge. Could that still get them into the playoffs, 88 wins? Maybe. I would say more 91, 92. But if it does an 88 win team scare you? Not really. Because usually, at the end of the day, the playoffs are not a crapshoot. It's usually the most dominant teams win the World Series. It's the teams who have one of the better records in baseball, more times than not. And even with Judge, I'm not going to sit here and act like I was super confident in the Yankees still. Like, I still don't like their way. I don't like their style. I think you could figure out a way to get this team out, regardless of Judge being here or not. You can find a way to beat them. Like, the Yankees played .500 ball in the second half of last season, and they got swept by the Astros in the playoffs. Judge was here. We saw the entire second half. They started pitching around Judge as best as they could. And you saw the product. The offense went dead. July and August was abysmal for the Yankees. Come playoff time, the bats that rely so heavily on the home run ball went cold once again because Aaron Judge couldn't hit a damn thing in the postseason, and so neither did everybody else. It's this weird domino effect with Aaron Judge that I don't know if it's because he provides protection, just the presence, but it's so crazy to me how he goes down, everybody forgets how to hit. So I don't know, man. Even looking at it big picture, I just don't see a World Series team. Even if everything goes as planned, the Yankees find a way to be .500 without him. Yuck. They get him back in July. He stays healthy. He mashes. They find a way to 95 wins. Even if that all happens, I just think all that does is mask their true issues that always end up being unmasked in the playoffs. And that's why I get these major 2021 vibes with the Yankees. Untrustworthy offense, a lot of replacement players and journeyman vets. It's an inconsistent roster of different guys shuffling in and out. There's no excitement. They found a way to 92 wins, that team, but they didn't do anything in the postseason. And right now, we got to get there first before we start talking playoffs. But how do we do that? Well, not this way. Not by waiting it out and watching these light hitters produce outs for this team. I think we got to make some changes, and the trade market is not going to be open for a bit, but you got to make some moves in-house. Get Oswald Peraza in here. Donaldson is finished. LeMahieu can't be playing every day anymore. I'm tired of that. See what Florial can give you. I know he's a quadruple A player. I get that. He strikes out a bunch, but I don't care at this point. I want something better. I want an actual outfielder in the outfield. I don't need to see IKF playing center field anymore. I'm over it. Yankees fans, they went from hating him to I feel like they're over-loving him this year. See what Austin Wells or Ben Rortvedt can give you. Because at some point, you do need a sliver of offense at catcher, and this whole Trevino-Higashioka tandem is really starting to hurt them offensively. I don't know. I'm getting really tired of looking up and seeing all these other teams. Their prospects are just killing it, you know? But our prospects come up and they're struggling. Cabrera, Volpe, like, yeah, Corbin Carroll, whatever the fuck the kid's name is. Julio Rodriguez last year, Adley Rutschman, right? Last year, this year you got Corbin, Corral, and you got fucking kid in Cincinnati. Cruz, De La Cruz, he's killing it. The Yankees seem to do it wrong. I don't know. Their player development's just not cutting it. Hanging on to guys too long until their value tanks. Not promoting them at correct times, whether they wait too long or maybe they promote them too early. Like, it just consistently fails. They either completely bust their top guys, or they'll start hot and then they'll fade. It's just very odd to me. So, it's frustrating. I'm frustrated. Again, to wrap this up, I'll say that yes, there's plenty of time left. I'm not giving up on the season yet. I don't think the Yankees are finished, but I think the Yankees are in bad shape. And again, I can understand why people would be leaning more towards the negative side of things right now. And I would say I'm probably more on the negative side right now too. So we'll see what happens. We got Seattle up next, and we got Texas. Holy shit. Sweep would be nice. Bader's coming back. That's cool. All right, let's wrap this up. Get to our final break. Get back. Wrap it up with our trivia, and that'll be that. Stay with us. Be right back. BD4, episode 533.
Studio 69 Productions is a production company that allows content creators of all genres to market their podcast or whatever project they're working on. It's an online platform that will promote your content, no problem. All you have to do is get in touch with film director and podcast producer Leo Rodriguez from Say No More Podcast, and you're good to go. You can find him on Instagram at Studio 69NJ, Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ. Let's wrap this episode up with our trivia question, and that'll be that. All right. So for episode 533 here on the podcast, our NYY-NYK-MMA question of the day is, Babe Ruth, Bill Dickey, and who else are the lone three Yankees to hit grand slams in back-to-back games? Babe Ruth, Bill Dickey, and who else are the lone three Yankees to hit grand slams in back-to-back games? All right, so one final time, our trivia question of the day for episode 533. Babe Ruth, Bill Dickey, and who else are the lone three Yankees to hit grand slams in back-to-back games? So let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. And that's it. The Yankees, they get swept at Fenway. They lose 4 in a row, 8 of 11, and things are looking pretty grim. We'll see what happens going forward, but I'm starting to lose a little bit of confidence of this team being a good team. I still think they'll make the playoffs, but what good is making the playoffs if you're limping in there and you don't look like a very strong team? So, that'll be that. And I'll see you on the other side. Episode 533 in the books. All right. Thanks for stopping by. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.